Welcome to Reset Today with Stephanie J. You've just tuned in to the show that allows you to reset in any area of your life. So come on and join me. Hit that reset bell and get ready to start fresh. So I hope you are having a good day. Hope you're having a good time wherever you are at this very moment. I'm back in the ring for another episode. I'm on a mission right now, and I'm here just for a little while. So I thank you for your time on today because you could be doing anything else. And so I'm glad you're here. I am doing some things just a little bit different because, as I shared, I am going to be pausing with podcasting for a while and probably slowing down on Reset. And let me just mention again the intro, and hopefully the music will come out pretty leveled. As I've shared, I cannot import music on the apps, and so I just have to play the music out. But this is entitled Waterfalls, and it is on my son's SoundCloud page under SMNS in all caps. And I'm going to let you know because I'm not going to type it all out as I normally do in the introduction to these episodes, but you can pick up Reset Today with Stephanie J on Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, Geo7, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, Apple, Google, SoundCloud, Facebook, and YouTube. And Geo7 is spelled JIOSAAVN. My other podcast, which I have a lot more episodes than Reset, is A Brand New Day with Stephanie J on Anchor, Spreaker, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Castbox, Google, Apple, Geo7, and both shows are pending on iHeart. I'm communicating with them back and forth to find out what is going on now. And so let me shift my focus. What I've been doing is, I'm talking some, but then I'm also playing some old recordings that I had on YouTube. The tracks that I have been playing was from a project that my husband and I collaborated on. This is music that he made. And early on, when we started doing music, I shared in one episode, we used to go to other people's studios. And, one day I just said, why not just invest in your own equipment and just do everything in-house? And then that way, you won't have to rely on anyone, because there were problems sometimes with the people that he was trying to go to. And I just didn't want to be involved in that. So I kind of pushed him, and he was like, well, I've never really done it on my own. I've always done, use somebody else's. And I'm like, well, now was a good time to start. So I did some research, found a nice keyboard, a Yamaha off of Walmart online. It came, and I guess you could say the rest is history. We purchased our first Tascam 8-track, and that produced some of the best sounds of the early stuff that we did. And then we graduated to the 16-track, and then I bought him a 32-track, and we just had so much stuff. And he would just make music all the time, just all the time. And so music that we weren't using, or I definitely wasn't interested in a lot of this music to sing to. He would just say, why don't you just take this and go upstairs and just go in a booth and preach over it, or just pray, or do something. I just hear your voice on this. And so that's how we got a lot of these materials. And then one day we put together an entire CD of these type of tracks, and he entitled it Stephanie's Seven Wars. So I have been sharing some of these with my podcast audience. And so if you've heard, or if you go back and listen, I hope that you get something out of it. And I definitely was encouraged and inspired when I was listening to them about a week ago. And I just decided, I think I'll go ahead and upload some of those on my podcast. So that's basically what I'm doing. And I just want to send a message out as much as I can. I am just trying my best to encourage. I am just trying my best to inspire, to motivate. And trust me, it gets tough sometimes, when you are dealing with your own stuff. That is the tricky thing about ministry. And I don't know how many people think about that, but this goes for pastors and leaders, presidents, people on the front lines. People go through their own stuff, and it is tough trying to help or being in a position to be there to help other people. There are days when I don't feel like encouraging anybody. There are some days when I feel like I need somebody to encourage me. And so I keep my little reserve. I have people that I like to listen to. I have other podcasts that I check out. I listen to other people's music. I definitely listen to my son, Rashawn's music. And, I go through periods where I'm not hearing it a lot, or I don't listen. And sometimes my son will say, hey, we haven't played Rashawn's music. We got to play his music. And, I pull out the CD, or I go on his SoundCloud page, and we hook it up sometimes to the car, and it just keeps me lifted and helps get me upbeat and inspired. And so that's why I try to share with you all, and I hope that many of you will go over to his page and show him some love. He's been doing this for quite a while. He started it in a class in high school, and then he continued on. He's just recently graduated from Temple University a few months ago. So yes, I think that deserves an applause. I'm very proud. And he has continued to create music. So he has quite a bit of music. And I just enjoy it. When he first started, I had him load a lot of it into my MP3 player. So, this is some years ago. I still actually have that MP3 player, but it broke on me, I think sometime last year. But I just used to plug it in my ears, and I'd go out and run to his music and, some of the other music that I like to listen to, inspirational. So, I encourage you, if you're feeling a little down or something's going on, find ways and find outlets that aren't destructive, and pick yourself up, boost yourself. Sometimes other people are not available, and guess what, they cannot always help. I found that out. Sometimes I would talk to people and I feel worse about that conversation. When it was all said and done, I'm like, dang, I should have just kept that to myself. Or I don't know if you're like this. Sometimes when I start trying to rehearse the events, I start getting agitated or angry all over, and I start to feel those emotions, and you get to hear my voice rising and stuff. So I learned how to write, to pray, to open up the Word of God, inspirational, and music has always just been a big one for me. It just has. And so hopefully that can inspire you in some way. So before I get into the track that I'm going to play for this episode, I am going to play one of my son's instrumentals, and this one is entitled Limbo. I'll be right back. I don't know about you, but I can definitely see movement with this groove. I was just sitting here, I'm sipping on my chicken broth, and I could just see lines of people. You know how we used to do the little line dances and stuff at weddings and ceremonies, people just standing around. I could just see a lot of hands clapping to that clicking part. And then I started thinking about soldiers in formation, just um, marching, and the sound that you hear from all those boots being in formation, just clicking together. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Happy stuff, happy thoughts. I want to take my mind as far away from the thoughts that are plaguing me right now. And I hope that you feel the same way. I went downstairs to, check on Christian's work. He was finishing up his work. And I was checking it and making some chicken broth, and I came back upstairs just in time to hear a whole bunch of arguing and fussing and cursing outside of my window. A few of my neighbors going at it for something today, and I just was like, oh my goodness gracious, no, come on, it's time out for all of that. I'm sure we've all had our times, and we've had our periods in our lives. Look, everybody has not had perfect relationships. I don't care if it's, a relationship, a love relationship, or a romantic relationship. We know how a lot of those can end. And they say it's a thin line between love and hate. But, some parent-children relationships end up like that. Co-workers, best friends. I mean, life is tough, and relationships are difficult. Even the children of Israel had a lot of problems coming together. That's probably why God put them in the wilderness to begin with, so they could learn how to live together and get along and fight for one another, but I just say it's just time out for all that. Like, I don't even want to be in relationship with anybody that there's always constant friction. There's always a problem. There's always something going on. I could turn this around into something else. I don't even want to talk about it. One of the neighbors that was doing the arguing and cursing and fussing just fights with everybody on a daily basis. And I'm like, really? I'm sorry. Life is just too short. Just always to be mean and miserable and unhappy and making everybody around you unhappy. It is. Can somebody say reset? I wish I could order that for some people. Hello. Yes, I like to order a reset for this person. they need a reset. Come on, it's time out for that. Life, we already know, we already understand that our world is changing. We're dealing with some difficult times and circumstances. Like, do we really need to keep adding on to it and daily? Just ponder that. Just think about that. I think not. And so I have no problem pruning and clipping these days. I really don't, because I'm sorry. I shouldn't even say I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry. I don't have time for it. And I'm past the time and past the age, especially almost a half a century, of allowing people to control my life, of allowing people to own my space. I read something online one day. It said, stop allowing people to live rent-free in your head, or something like that. And I thought that was really funny. It's like, you wouldn't let anyone come up into your house and just live rent-free and get on your nerves and stuff. Why would you let someone rent space in your head? Why would you allow someone and their issues and their problems to control your life? I have a say, and a lot of times we don't get it so much, especially when we're younger, especially when it's family, close members. And I found myself in that situation. I'm not going to go too deep with it, but there were people in my life, I love them, but it was like, I can't. I just can't. I can't deal with what you're bringing. And in some instances, I have told the person that, I'm not feeling this. I don't really like when you do this, or I don't like, I've told a couple people, like, I don't have time for all that gossiping and talking about people and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to have negative vibes and conversations. And I've talked to a few people, and I would say, and my mother-in-law was good for this. I had to stop calling her, because every time I called just to check on her or see if she needed something, I'm just being real transparent. This is me. I would be like, okay, well, I just called to see if you need anything. We're going to the grocery store. Yeah, oh, well, yeah, no, I'm all right. And then, oh, I got a phone call from this person. This is happening at the church, and this happened. And I'm like, okay, yeah, well, I gotta go. I really gotta go. I don't have time. I don't make time for it. I tell people, listen. And I was very candid with someone that I've been talking to for many, many years. A few people I just had to clip because they just wouldn't get the message. But there's someone that I had been talking to, and we spend a lot of time on the phone when we talk. And I just said to this person one day, I said, we spend a lot of time talking, and sometimes it's okay because, we're talking about more positive stuff and dreams and goals and vision and things we need to do and stuff. I said, but then there are other times when we're talking about a bunch of nothing, or talking, now this is that person. They're always talking about people from the past, people from the church, old members who did this, people, and some of this stuff was like 20, 30 years ago or more. And I'm just like, it's time to let that stuff go. And I just was nicely telling the person, I cannot continue to sit on the phone and spend all of this time talking about nothing or talking about people. I'm like, some of these people that you keep bringing up, they're not even alive. Some of them are, but they have so moved on. Some of these people aren't thinking about you, aren't remembering these things, and you're holding this stuff. And I'm like, I can't sit here and just have these kind of conversations. I need to be more productive. I'm coming up out of the wilderness. I'm even past the time where I'm talking about my circumstances, because I know from experience what it is like to continue to just keep talking and talking and talking about the issues and the problems and debating and arguing and fighting. And then you look up, it's like a year later, hey, we're still doing this. Okay, I'm still upset about this. Oh, you're still doing this. Oh, you're still, okay, so what are we doing? Well, we're going to continue on. We're going to be okay. We're going to try. We're going to do it. And then a couple months down the road, it's like, hey, we're still having the same argument. We're still having this. Hey, I'm talking about Stephanie. I got tired of being stuck. I don't know about you today. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't even know why I'm talking like this. But guess what? Yes, yes, yes. You can reset, because I did. I got all of that junk out of my life, and I decide what and who I want to talk to, who I want to take from there. I have a long block list on my phones. Yes, I do. I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I know a lot of you probably do too. There are some calls I just don't take. And it's not, you block people, and that just means that, like, especially when I'm podcasting, I will turn my phones on do not disturb mode or whatever, so stuff is not coming through. But that gives me a chance. What you're doing when I'm blocking, I'm sending it straight to voicemail, and then that way I can get to hear what your tone is, if you're leaving a message, what you're talking about. I have people that only were calling when they wanted something or wanted advice, or they want to take Stephanie J's time, but then you don't hear anything from them for weeks or for months. And then it's like, hey sis, hey, I haven't heard from you. Hey, what's up? I put all that on the back burner. Text messages coming through, I have to read the tone. That's just me. Some things I'm just not making for time for in my life anymore. The drama, Mary J. Blige had a song about it, I think, called No More Drama. I don't have time for it. Time is too short. That's why I'm sitting here podcasting. I am watching what I say. Lord set a guard, set a watch over my mouth. And if I say something I'm not supposed to say, I'm quick to turn that thing around and neutralize it, because guess what? It will keep you in a pit. And Stephanie J is not going back down in the pit. I'm not vibing with people like that anymore. I've allowed, and hear me what I'm saying before I put this clip on, I have allowed too many people to come into my life, keeping me back and holding me down and taking and taking and taking and keeping me off my purpose. The very person that I was talking about with the gossiping and stuff is a person that is always asking me to do something for them. And, I need you to do this for me. And I need you to get my stuff up. And I'm like, not today. I did that many years ago. Don't you remember? I did ABC for you. I did this. That's why my stuff is lacking. That's why I'm just now getting started again. So I'm sorry. This is the no nonsense Stephanie J. And I'm going to just clip that right there. I hope that you have made a decision that these are going to be the best times of your life, because none of us know how long it's going to last. And I don't know about you, but I want to enjoy. I want to start enjoying my life more. I want freedom. Jesus Christ came to set me free. He whom the Son sets free is free indeed. I don't want to be in bondage. The only person who comes to keep you in bondage is the enemy himself. And you think he's going to knock on your door and say, "Hey, what's up? It's Satan. I'm coming to take over your house. Hey, I'm back. I'm coming to get your kids. Hey, yeah, keep on watching that." And I don't know who this is for. I'm trying to click on hey, keep on ensnaring your soul. Yeah, keep on turning on that porn channel. Keep on drinking. Look, do it up big time. Let's party. Hey, I'm back. I brought some company with me. I got 7 other spirits with me, stronger than what I had before. Oh yeah, we coming to do you in. No, he's not coming like that. He's going to use people. And unfortunately, some people don't want to believe this or accept it. Sometimes they're the very people in your life. Yes, they can be your family. Yes, they can be your spouses. Yes, they can be your children. He'll use anybody who will open that door to him. So if you that are listening to me, if you've had enough and you are like me, you got sick and tired of being sick and tired of taking the devil's mess. Sick and tired of watching your life at this lower level, knowing that you're supposed to be at this higher level. You're supposed to be flying. My pastor used to preach back in the day, and he would say sometimes, "You can't fly like an eagle hanging with the turkeys." Well, I decided to get out that coop. I'm not in no chicken coop or no, hey, if I have to fly alone, because that's what an eagle does. An eagle will soar and fly alone, even in the storm, even above the storm. That is one of my favorite birds. And I'm from Philadelphia, the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. And I used to carry a credit card that had an eagle, and I used to do studies on eagles. And so what you want to do today, hear me. Yes. You want to hear me today. If you're tired of where you are, then it's time to reset. If you're hanging out in the chicken coop, or you're walking around the ground gobbling with the turkeys, and you know you're eagle material, then you're going to have to make some decisions. You're going to have to clip some stuff. You're going to have to cut off some stuff. You're going to have to cut off some people. I don't know who that's for, but it's for somebody. And so let me get myself together over here. And the track that I'm going to play is entitled "If It Wasn't for the Lord," and my husband did the music, and I'm ministering over it. Right now, I just want to take a minute just to think on the goodness of the Lord. God is so great. He is great, and his word says, "and greatly to be praised." God inhabits the praises of his people. That means he lives inside the praises of his people. The Bible tells us that we are the temple of the living God. God said, I will not dwell with temples made with man's hands. Instead, he decided that he would dwell in the hearts of his people. I am so glad that God made the decision to be near to us. He said in his word, if you draw nigh unto me, I will draw nigh unto you. I'm so glad that we don't serve a distant God. I'm glad and I'm grateful that we don't serve a dead God. He is a living God. He is the King of kings and the Lord of lords. God is awesome. I found through my circumstances that God is mighty. He is powerful. He is above every situation. He is above every circumstance. There is nothing that we can do, absolutely nothing that we can do to be separated from his love. I found out that sometimes God will let you wander in the wilderness like he did the children of Israel. He will allow you to make choices and decisions that may not be necessarily in line with what he has for your life. But I understand even more so from certain circumstances that he's always there. He's there, he's watching, he's leading, he's guiding with his eye. The Bible says he looks everywhere at once. God is spirit. He's not like you and I. He's not like that devil. He can see everything. He can see everywhere. The word says he sits high and he looks low. God is everywhere at once. And I'm so glad that he's in my circumstances. I'm glad that he's in my heart. I'm glad that he's in my mind. I'm glad that there's nowhere, like David said, where can I go from your presence? I'm so glad that I cannot get away from him. I'm so glad that he will not get away from me. I'm so glad that he will never let me go. I'm right there in the palm of his hands. He said nobody can pluck me out. Even in the wilderness, he will set up an oasis, and that's what he just did for me in a situation that I just went through. I made a decision, and I started moving out on that decision by faith, not knowing where I was going, not knowing where I was headed, had no real direction. I had a thought in my mind, but David said before the thought even forms, you know it all together. David said before I form a word on my tongue, you, oh Lord, you know. He knows our thoughts. He knows our heart's desires. I found out that there is nothing that you can go through that God won't bring you through. In Psalm 32, he says, I will guide thee with mine eye. I know what it's like for God to guide you with his eye. I didn't know where I was going. I did not know what would happen when I arrived. But God in his providential care took care of everything. I'm so glad I serve a wise God. He is an all-knowing God. He is a loving God. He is a faithful God. I just praise his name on tonight, because if it had not been for the Lord on my side, where would I be? If it had not been for him loving me, I wouldn't know love. If it hadn't been for him saving me, I would not know his saving grace. If it had not been for him protecting and caring for me, I would not know unconditional love. I would not know, if I had not fallen, I would not know that God can pick me up. If I had not made a wrong turn, I would not know that God can step in and put me back on the right road. If I had not failed, I would not know that God can pick me up and dust my knees off and set me on a place where I can grow, where I can rise up, where I can have another opportunity because of his love, because of his grace. I have another opportunity to make it right. I'm so glad I know this Jesus. I'm so glad I don't have to search like so many in this world do. I'm so glad I didn't have to try Muhammad and Buddha and all of these other things, all of these other man-made gods. I'm so glad that I didn't have to try marijuana. I didn't have to try to crack cocaine. I didn't have to try the alcohol and all of the devices that so many in this world use to fill their void. I'm so glad that at a young age, I was introduced to Jesus. I had a praying grandmother. I had a mother who loved the Lord. I watched my mother go through all kinds of hell in her life. In my upbringing, my mother is deceased now. My grandmother's deceased now, but I'm still here, and I'm still standing through all of the pain, through all of the circumstances, all of the wrong choices, all of the wrong turns. I'm so glad that I knew Jesus. I'm so glad that my foundation was Jesus. He's the rock that I stand on. He's the one that I look to. The word of God says, I will look to the hills from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord. I'm so glad that I know on tonight that my help comes from the Lord. All right, that is Stephanie J's story, and I'm sticking to it. I hope you got something out of that. I hope something that I shared with you on this episode will inspire, encourage, and motivate you to just continue moving on, regardless as to what you're dealing with. If you are alive, if you are hearing my voice, understand that you can. Oh, yes, you can. You can hit that reset bell and start again right where you are. I'll talk to you again soon.